Another snowy morning here in Chicagoland. It's just a couple of additional inches of snow, it looks like, but the roads are not plowed, so it's 6:40 a.m. And I wanted to stop and get something to eat this morning, but I don't know if we'll have time for that, so screw it, you know what? I get there when I get there. So waiting in line or at the drive-thru right now to pick up something to take to the office, so I thought I would bring you along with me. I had a kind of a funny story to talk about on my ride today. Alright, that took forever and a day to get the food this morning, but I was up super early. I don't know, I've been trying to go to bed a little bit earlier, like 10 o'clock to 10:30, which is like way earlier than I normally ever do, but I've been trying to catch up on sleep, and this morning I guess I finally caught up because at 3:30 in the morning I was wide awake. So at some point I'm like, I can't lie here any longer. I got up and started working, and now I'm headed into the office through emails and stuff and looking through my messenger messages and stuff, and one of my best friends sent me a video clip of a YouTube video that made me laugh, and it was about being a Christian missionary in Guatemala. And I know she sent it to me because she knew I would laugh, because years ago my friend had gone on a missionary trip to Guatemala, which was, extremely shocking and completely out of character. But her father, who was in the home building industry, had at that point recently started getting involved into very icy Christian ministry thing. He was trying to be some sort of a pastor or something. So as part of that, they found out that he had a background in home building, and they said, oh, well, you would be perfect to go on this missionary trip in Guatemala. Well, trying to make a good impression and do everything that they asked. Of course, he was all about it, and so I guess he was talking to his daughter, and at that point, it was around 2004, so I was out of college, and, I think a little bit restless, and thought, oh, it would be fun to just, get out of here for a while, go do something that would be completely new and different. And I don't know if she was telling me about it because she thought I would want to go, but she never asked, so I think she found out or knew that that would probably not be my interest particularly. So I said, well, where are you going? Tell me about the trip. Well, it's Guatemala. Okay. And we're going to Guatemala to help build, a building there. Okay, build a building? Like what? I mean, I know your dad has, background in that, but, do you know anything about construction? Well, no, definitely not. Okay, well, do the other people? Well, no, they're like younger people, in their 20s, and I said, okay, well, how are you going to do that? Well, her dad knows all about construction. I said, well, yeah, that's one out of how many people? Well, there's people there that are already, on the ground with this organization. So we don't have to have any kind of a background in construction. We're just going to be the labor. Oh, okay. Now that sounds horrible. I said, it's really, really hot in Guatemala. Oh, yeah, she knows about that. And I said, well, okay, so they were going to fly. This particular church was from Iowa. So they were flying from Chicago to Guatemala. And she was, preparing for it for quite a while. And as a matter of fact, they were told that they should, bring just old rags to wear because they would be extremely filthy. And, that where they were going, there was no electricity and no running water. I was like, no electricity? How are you going to be building something there? Well, they know how to do it. And she said, well, that's part of the reason that they're going there, because they have no running water, so they're going to be building them a bathroom in this remote village. And I was like, they don't have a bathroom? Well, no. So you're going to Guatemala, basically, to build a brick shithouse in the jungle, or what is it? Yeah, pretty much, she said. All right. Well, I said, well, where have they been going to the bathroom? I mean, this place is, there's been a civilization there for, millennia. Where have these people been going to the bathroom all this time up until now? She didn't know. Maybe, in the woods or something. So. Okay, well, have a wonderful time. Keep me posted. Let me know. Send lots and lots of pictures. And I can't wait to talk with you when you get there. Well, that's the problem, she said. Since there's no electricity and I'm not bringing my cell phone, she said. I was like, what? You're not bringing your cell phone? Now, this was 2004, so life was a bit different, at that point. I mean, we weren't as reliant, I guess, on cell phones. It's hard to recall that, back at that point. But early that morning, getting up to go to work, and I click on the television, and I'm in Chicago, and there is a news story about a group of Iowa missionaries were killed in a plane crash in remote Guatemala. And my heart just drops to my stomach. And they're talking about this group of, I don't know how many, 15 people. They had left from Iowa, flown out of Chicago O'Hare, and while en route to their final destination aboard a small aircraft, the plane crashed, killing all of the passengers. So I'm just sick. I'm thinking, how many groups of Christian missionaries from Iowa were traveling out of Chicago O'Hare on this day, going to a remote village in Guatemala? Probably not many. And I am just sure that my friend is dead. But at the same time, it's just I don't want to believe that. I don't want to think that. So, it's me. So what do? Go to work. So, I'm I'm trying to think of what to do. Who do I call? Who had she told she was going? And I knew that her mother was, back home in Iowa. But I'm thinking, do I call this woman who I don't know very well at all? And whip her up into a hysterical frenzy when this may or may not be them, even though I'm like 98% positive that it has to be them. So I decide not to do that. So I don't know what to do, you know? I try calling another mutual friend who, you know, I'm like, call me back. This is a, you know, emergency. It's about our friend, and I'm expecting to get like a call back that morning at work or something. And here's my friend who's also a workaholic who, you know, never bothers calling me back. It's like, what the hell? When I call you and say there's an emergency about our friend, call me back right away, you know, not days later. So, but anyways, so I'm just, you know, coming to the realization that my friend is probably gone, and I'm basically waiting for some kind of a phone call, which I don't even know if that's coming because, you know, her mother, like I said, doesn't know me very well, and oh my God, it was the most agonizing day of my, you know, life at that point. So finally, I think it was that night, the phone rings, and it's coming up as like because I think in those days we actually, like, people would buy phone cards or something like that. I mean, this was 2004 or thereabouts. So I get a call and I answer it thinking, well, it's an unknown number or whatever, a strange number, but maybe it's somebody with some horrible information. So I answer the phone, and it's my friend. And I'm like, oh my God. I, like, burst out into tears. She had heard the news about this missionary group, and that was why she was calling. She said, I didn't think you would hear about that or anything, but she called. And I'm getting emotional thinking about it now. So we were so happy to talk to one another, and she said, well, we heard about it, and she says, as a matter of fact, we met the passengers. She said we were all at O'Hare at the same time, and apparently we heard that there was another missionary group that wasn't related to them, but they just so happened to be also going on the same exact kind of a mission trip to another, you know, remote outpost in Guatemala, and they met up and were visiting and talking and stuff like that. So she said, yeah, we met all of those people, and you know, matter of hours later, they're dead. So I don't know. It's the video that I'm gonna try to include in the clip is a funny video about you know, how silly, you know, it is planning a missionary trip or whatever, and it was actually just kind of a good laugh, but it brought me to remind me about this very serious time and how scary that was. So you know, if anybody asked me to go on one of those kind of trips, I would say, you know, that's a wonderful thing. Maybe send a check. You know, I would be happy to send a check, you know, cover all of the, you know, Charmin, the pink fuzzy toilet seats for the brick shit house, maybe even some of the cinder blocks. But I'm not going anywhere. She said, you know, going there was unbelievable. She said, you know, they flew into whatever, like, larger city there, and then they had to take, it's very slippery, sorry, they had to take a bus that was like hours aboard this. It was some kind of a van that had, you know, seating capacity for like, you know, 10, and they had like 25 people crammed into this thing, and it was on these rutted out, you know, stone, mud roads through winding hills, and she said the driver was, driving like a bat out of hell. And it was like they pretty much got out of that van and kissed the ground like the Pope when they arrived at whatever this place was that they were going. And oh my gosh, it's great. Thank God we have people that do that kind of stuff and whatnot, but not me. So I hope you're all doing well and staying safe out on those roads. If you hit the subscribe button, welcome to the family. If you haven't, it's not too late. I love you for watching.